This is a different way of attaching the pocket than my other video. Might be easier and specifically better when we have patterned fabric. First order of business is to attach the pocket and the facing to the pocket opening. Especially if we overlocked it, we can snip into the pieces again to make the notches clearer. As an aside, we do both fronts in tandem, always going to the machine with both pieces at the same time and such like. It's just easier to film with one pocket on the board, then later one on the machine. Take the facing, which will be attached to the silesia, and place it to the correct side, the outside of the appropriate trouser. Line up the notches. There is only one correct way around for each trouser when placing the facing onto the outside. Take a piece of linen 2 cm wide and longer than the distance between the notches and place it evenly on them. Line it up to the edge of the pocket piece on the silesia on the outside of the two pieces. We might like to baste them first, probably advisable. Give yourself chalk marks at the notches as a guide. Sew them together only between the notches and with another small centimetre seam allowance, 7 or 8 millimeters. Cut down the notches, and you might find yourself with a nicer end result to angle the cut from between the notches. Plus, again, cutting away half the seam of the facing, pocketing, and linen. Iron the seam towards the silesia. Fold the pocket over and be sure that when you secure it, the front is bleeding out to the back. If you want to finish the pocket as you go, don't prick stitch the pocket opening yet. I'm just re-ironing my centimetre seam allowance on the blind, making sure it's crisply folded over. Should your fabric feature a pattern, that should already be close, but lay the front trouser atop the blind in order to make it perfect. This is why we mark stitch the pocket line in the notches. So line up the pocket line on the blind up to the pocket line that we've made on the trouser. Pin them together, flip it over, and fold the silesia back over onto its other half, and pin the blind only to the silesia. Remove the original pin so that you can maneuver the blind and its pocket piece, and attach it. Remembering at the bottom that we're leaving a centimetre unstitched on the raw side. At this point, we'll French the pocket. I'd be insulting your intelligence at this point to narrate it, but I'd be remiss if I didn't show it. Or maybe I'm just too lazy to narrate it. Now we need to be able to move the pocket bag away in order to sew the front trouser and the blind together, in order to later sew the front and back trousers together. This is why we left the centimetre or so unsewn. Only cutting through the silicea that is between the front trouser and the blind, cut the silicea to about level, if a little below the blind, and 1 centimetre behind the raw edge of the blind. We need to stitch the blind and the front trouser together. Sewing at an angle towards the bottom of the pocket and turning back will prevent it from showing in the front at the side seam at all, and will show us the point that needs to be sewn over when we attach the back trouser. I also suggest strengthening the bond by just going back and forth with it on the machine a little bit halfway over the seam allowance as well. To fix the trouser front to the blind at the top of the pocket opening, make sure you know where it's going. Have the pocket opening flat on the blind and carry on the pocket line upwards. You also need to make the commensurate mark on the front trouser. We can iron the mark into it, folding it over such that it is lined up with the chalk marking, and press a crease into it. There are bits of fabric and silicea up there. The facing and the half of the pocket that's attached to the facing, we can just cut away a centimetre or so, or the seam above the top of the pocket. This way, the seam sits much flatter. Move the silicea behind the big facing out of the way. Get them lined up together and pin the seam in place. First, pin it parallel to the crease to fold it back to see whether it's in about the right place, before pinning it perpendicular to the crease to machine it down. Only those 2 layers though. Keep the pocket behind it out of the way. Back tack on both sides, follow the crease, and end, once again, at the notch. If you found yourself having sewn it in the wrong place, you might be able to try again before you take out the previous stitches, and if you are behind where you were supposed to be, you might not have to take them out at all. And this is the earliest point that if you wanted to prick stitch the pocket opening that you could do it.